it's impossible to begin to talk about an African American museum because there are too many myths about us, too many stereotypes about us.
Good evening and welcome to Captions. I'm Andre Bohannon, your host, and we have a very special program for you tonight. In fact, I hope you're a part of the program tonight. We are bringing the 22nd African American Hall of Fame Red, Black, and Green Ball here at the Pier Marquette. Our guest speaker is Reverend C.T. Vivian, a man of national prominence who had his start here in Peoria. Please stay tuned and enjoy the show. We have a number of people who will be honored that hopefully you will know, recognize, and emulate in terms of making a difference. Thank you.
I was so surprised, really, is that my life went by me when I first heard that we were going to have a African American museum in central Illinois, all right? That was really a surprise. I said, I've heard very creative things, very, very happy to have it happen here in a place that I know. You see, is that the last Depression is what brought me here. My mother and family, all of them really, my grandparents and etc., we lost everything we had because of the last Depression. As a result of that is that they decided that they should get out of the South and come to a place where we would have integrated education because they only had one precious thing left, you understand. As a result of that, we came here and I started first grade in Illinois. They always say that I'm from Missouri, and that's right, I'm from Missouri. I really have lived in Illinois all my life. And to know that the way I found my vocation was through the lack of racism on one hand in Illinois and the amount of racism on the other hand. Is that as a result, I don't call it north, I call it up south at the time because things weren't quite certain. The law was on our side as we began, but the custom and tradition and mores was not. So we sat upstairs, even though if we went to court, we could have gotten by that, right? The laws were in our favor, but not the rest. This is the kind of understanding that becomes very, very important to us as we realize that we're only halfway through with that which we have to do. And that this museum and the whole idea of education and training and museums and classrooms is the way to make that happen. Is that when we telling the story and thinking in terms of you, I was Easter Tuesday, I left the White House. I was in a meeting with others to meet with Obama. You know, the easy way to say that is after a meeting with Obama, you don't mention there were 90 other people there, you know. And it sounds like, oh, well. It's not quite that easy. But as we was going down the street past the African Museum of History, and as we went on down the street, I was trying to find the location for the new National Museum of American History. Is that the African American Museum of History has to, in fact, come after an African understanding. And if anyone is to truly understand us and understand American history, they must first understand Africa. And that takes a bit more than understanding that it has 48 states in it that are countries, rather than to think of it as one place called Africa. And it comes with an understanding that Africa is 4.5 times larger than the United States, so there's a little more going on there than we might have thought of or think of today. But without understanding that, it's impossible to begin to talk about an African American museum, because there are too many myths about us, too many stereotypes about us, in order to deal realistically with a great museum, which is always necessary, without understanding the background of it. Is because those myths, those stereotypes have to be changed. One cannot truly understand us until they understand Africa. And understanding Africa takes more than a notion. But in fact, it is very simple, because we're very simplistic about our African understanding. And because we grew up and went to school in this country, we hardly heard anything about who we were until late in the game. Making the argument for the necessity of children coming up, both black and white, to have an education in the beginning about the very base of their neighbors. We probably know less about the African American minority than any other minority in the United States. Now, just one more of those myths, all right? And is that one of the myths is that after you were so kind to free us, right, is that we didn't really understand anything, and freedom was really over our head, and we were standing around on corners with one foot on top of the other, not knowing what to do. Now, let's get rid of some of these myths so we can get about the real work. And the point is, we not only were not standing around on the corners, we in fact knew exactly what we wanted when we came out of slavery. And there's 5 things, and I hope I can get them in order for you, because they make sense only in order. One is that the first thing we wanted was land. Now, we had been told that if we fought for this country, if in fact we fought for the freedom of this nation, if we kept the United States together, and 160,000 black troops helped do that, right, is that then we would have every right that everybody else had. So we shouldn't have had to fight for the right to vote, because we'd already won that. We thought. Only we found that those who made the promises told us they didn't write it on paper. America, only in America, right? Now, when we really begin to think in terms of that kind of understanding, we wanted land first. But now it doesn't sound right to us to say land and say money second. Because we said, well, why didn't you just want money? Because we were too wise for that. Right? Is that if you got land, nobody can take it from you without a real fight, all right? They can steal the money. Money comes out of owning land. It's not the other way around. Land will give you, money will give you a little land for a short length of time. Land gives you life forever. Oh, we understood it very well, because after all, we'd worked all those farms. And we had seen that the rich sat up on the porch and didn't do the work, right? And that we had to do that, right? And we'd seen it true with white folk as well.